Just ignore. I don't want to hear. How long will it be for? There's no chance for free. Uncontrollable.
All things come from left to right, and this world is changing fast. It's so hard to find the answer for itself. Can't we find the key to life? I don't want to be apart. Yeah, this magic we can spark. Now it's time to
Let's get started again. Do not stay your friend. We'll get back alive for us today. Yes, let's start again. I don't stay your friend. Where the magic was right. Now it's
All right, that's pretty good. Actual little bit of a stream intro, stream opening. Just because I know, usual streams they give it like an announcement and it's like 10, 15, 20 minutes, or it's on the like gonna be streaming soon screen. And my shit's not quite that scheduled out, so. But I mean, I recognize it's good to just have a couple minutes at the start of the stream before the stream actually like starts, because just you going in real hot if it's like the stream's been up for 20 seconds and I am 10 seconds into whatever I'm talking about. But anyway, so I'm the Billionaire Buster. Name's Alex. I'm streaming today. Didn't stream last week. That's my bad. Just dealing with shit. I'm not a professional streamer, so I don't think I need to like make an excuse, because it's like this is I enjoy doing these. I want people to enjoy watching them. It's not meant to be like a lifestyle kind of stream where there's fucking 5-6 hour streams every week and you can just like have that be on in the background all day every day. Nothing against those. I have streamers I like who do that kind of streaming, and I've watched and listened to plenty of real long ass streams before. Sometimes I don't know why people look at like a 12-hour stream and be like, 12 hours, how do I watch that? And it's like, you watch it in bits and pieces. Like, fucking watch like 2 hours at a time. Like, I don't know, if you watch an hour of it and it sucks, then just stop watching it. Like, same with anything else. But yeah, so I guess the kind of quick channel update, because I've just got a little bit of an idea where something I want to do. I'm going to try to just challenge myself to this for the next month. It's kind of like the next 4 weeks. It's April 30th, so, for the month of May. But my idea is I want to do 2 streams a week. So there'll be the Sunday stream, what I usually try to do, and a Tuesday stream. Tuesday kind of works best for me as like a secondary day there. And so my idea is just that the Tuesday stream will be a bit more like I've done the chill gaming stream, which sometimes just because like I'm not in the greatest mood, and it's like it's easier to motivate myself to actually start the stream if I can say like, hey, okay, I'm just gonna be playing like a fucking video game and doing some of my general Billionaire Buster commentary at parts, but like I can play a video game, that's fine. But what I want to divide it as, I want to have like Tuesday be the kind of just chill gaming stream, because those are pretty fun for me. I get to like show off a game, and I can still talk about politics a bit, talk about relate whatever the game is. Like we've been playing Broken Reality, and like there's it's a game made by people. Any game, it's made by people who live on this same earth and world we do. There's generally something to talk about, or just some things you can relate it back to, or tie it to and have like an interesting conversation about. At least if it's a game I'm choosing to play, especially if I'm choosing to play it on stream, I've prejudged that I can say something about it. I've proven right with Broken Reality. I've had plenty of stuff to say while playing that game, and also just enjoyed it, like showing it off. That game's a fun vibe. And then Sunday will be the more, I'd say, like kind of traditional stream, where just, still might be still could be like watching videos. It's not going to be like a ContraPoints level production of like, a whole fucking theatrical like skit being put on. But I'm going to try to have it be that the Sunday streams are streams where I don't just specifically play a video game, and just I keep it on a bit more of a political focus. So you can see on the title for this one, there is a game I'm going to talk about, Xenoblade Chronicles X. We'll get to that a bit later. And that's a game where it's very, very really it's a JRPG, so it's a very big, long game with a lot of quests and characters and story and stuff in it. And just, there's definitely political, so, there's stuff to talk about that's relevant to this channel. Very relevant. And there's also just part that I just kind of want to talk about, because I think it's like a cool game, and I think it's a little bit like underappreciated. Though I do recognize I have some definite like flaws, cons. Some are more subjective, some are kind of just pretty objective. Inventory management becomes just a real fucking time waste later in the game. But I'll get into all that in good time. Before this stream, I was laying down, I was just trying to think, like, what do I actually want to... Because I got Steven Crowder in the title, so we'll get to him. We're going to do him first, because I think I'm going to try to just keep it quick, relatively quick on him. Because I was just debating where, like, I could do a whole stream about relationships and, like, abuse. But just, that's a real, like, heavy, like, serious topic. And I didn't want to... I wasn't, like, quite sure about just, like, winging that out there. So, we are going to talk a bit about it, though. We're going to at least take, I don't know, knowing me, probably at least 10 or 15 minutes. I got a little drink here. And we'll talk about the Steven Crowder thing a bit, because, I'm a lefty. I already didn't like Steven Crowder. And I'll do a donation in a sec, but yeah, if you haven't seen the video of him having a really shitty conversation with his pregnant, now ex-wife, I'll just, as a little bit of prelude, I'll just say when I sat there and just like, watched and listened to that thing, I was watching Vosh's reaction to it, because Vosh, he paused a couple times, and he talked before and after. I liked what Vosh had to say, but he mostly just, it's like a 3.5 minute, like, video that got released. I'll just say, like, I legit wanted to punch Crowder. I wanted to just fucking hit him. Like, I'm a guy, so it's just, content warning, legit, like, content warning about that whole subject. If you've got a sensitivity towards the topics of, like, emotional abuse or, like, relational, spousal abuse, like, my partner has some sensitivity about that, so, like, I told them about, like, some of the stuff in the video, but I also told them that, like, you probably, like, I wouldn't recommend, I recommended to them that, like, don't actually watch that video, though, because, like, it made me want to hit the guy. It's going to put them in just a bad mood, like, if my partner watched it, because they got a sensitivity towards that kind of stuff, which is, very, very fair to have. But, that said, though, Billionaire Buster, I'm back. I'm streaming, so yeah, I'm hoping 8 streams in the month of May. I'm hoping for 8 streams. Should be good. Should be good. And so, starting things off though, yeah, let's go on the GoFundMe tab. I'll very quickly say for the Tuesday streams, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do the donations on them. just because I don't, I'm just trying to think that I might do like on the Tuesday streams specifically. I might do like a smaller donations, just so I'm not like doubling the amount I'm giving. Right on these, yeah, it's very transparent. I'm just fucking doing it. I usually do like $3 $50 donations. That's what I aim for. I don't know, with doing the second stream, I don't want to just right off the bat just like double that so that I'm doing like $300 worth of donations in a week. Just because that's a lot. That's a lot. That's trying to be just a little mindful. I don't know. But yeah, but I still want to do like some donations because it feels like I don't know. I like that. I like that aspect of like my streams. That just every stream I give money away to people in need. Fuck advertising, fuck sponsorships, fuck this being like a full-time job for me. Nah, son, I'm just here to do things. But I haven't quite like hard decided what that'll be. It's just something I'm thinking of. But so GoFundMe, we're on the emergency fundraiser tab, and I'm keeping my portrait. Let me, I guess maybe if I do it over here. Oh, actually, my mouse goes behind my portrait. That's probably. I'm not sure if there'd be a way to have it not do that. I'm not sure I'd want that. I had my camera down here, I think, for something I was doing on the last stream. I was playing Neo Scavenger, and having it. I normally have it in the top left corner, but that was like blocking some of the important like UI meters in Neo Scavenger, whereas the bottom right corner wasn't as important to look at. And I'm going to just keep it down here because when I talk about Xenoblade, I'm not going to be playing the game myself. I'm just going to be pulling up a lot of just random like YouTube videos of just long plays or specific like scenes or moments. So being in the bottom right corner probably helps keep me a bit more out of the way there. So that said though, yeah, let's pick a GoFundMe here. Yeah, let's. Oh man. Oh, shit is sad. I guess let's take a look at this one. The goal is relatively modest, and they're a good bit of the way there, so probably gonna give them a little push. So severe chronic illness, rare disease known as superior mesenteric artery syndrome. I've never heard of that. Feeding tube, trouble eating and digesting. Could be fatal. And then, yeah, bad home situation. Physically very sick, dealing with disability. So, yeah, I'm at the point, because just reading out the full thing is like just kind of sad. Like it's sad stuff usually. So I try to just kind of summarize it a bit if someone's just listening. It's like I don't need it. I'm good. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. Because it's not like, oh, I didn't read it and then I didn't donate either. But no, it's like I only skimmed it, but I also fucking donated still. Like so it's like it's okay. You don't need to go on. I'm already entering my credit card info. The three numbers on the back. Hello, Fortnite players. If you want to save the world of Fortnite, whatever that meme was with the one guy telling you to get your parents' credit card. That meme was funny. I like that trend. And the 3 digits on the back of the card. Yeah, do my postal code. Alright, that went through. Give a little post on the Facebook. And you know, I haven't made a Twitter account yet for this, and I don't trust how Twitter is going with Elon. And there's the recent thing where I guess I don't know much about it, but I've just been hearing it's like Blue Sky or something. Yeah, hey, there we are. And it's like the guy who was the former CEO of Twitter, like, made this new website, social media thing, and it seems like it basically just works exactly like Twitter does. So that might unironically become a much more preferable site to be on. I don't have an account there, but maybe I'll just like skip doing the Billionaire Buster Twitter. And I think you have to get like invited or something, so I'm sure I can pull that off, but I just have to. I gotta look into that. But there might be a Billionaire Buster on Blue Sky, and that'll be fun. Maybe I'll find some people to have like a debate or an argument with. Ooh, wow. That could be kind of either a Sunday or a Tuesday stream thing. They don't even have to be like arguments, you know. They could just be good faith conversations. And I actually mean that when I say that. I just to get the word out there. I mean, if I'm allowing you, if I'm agreeing to have you come on stream and talk, I'm probably going to try to have a good conversation. Like, I don't know, if someone's such a piece of shit that I don't think I could in like good conscience have a polite conversation with them, then I doubt we would ever end up actually talking to each other. Like Steven Crowder would be the example of that, where it's like, you know, part of me would love to talk to Steven Crowder, but I also understand it's not going to happen because Steven Crowder would not love talking to me because I feel compelled to just be really mean to him. I'm just going to be mean to him, and I'm just going to depending on, you know, I'm just going to end up challenging him to a fist fight like really quickly. And then that's going to kind of deflate the possibility of having a conversation if I'm just like, you know, I'll fix your fucking chest. I'll fucking rip your own ribs outward and fucking eat your heart, you piece. Like, that's just, why would he want to talk to me if I'm like that? And I don't want to talk to him if I'm not talking like that. So, like, him and his one car having ass. Anyway, okay. So we gave our 50 to the gal here. 617 donations. Put it on the Facebook. It's up on the stream here. If someone like knows how to get in contact with Steven Crowder, let him know that there is a disabled Black Asian young person who needs help, and he could help save their life. I know he really cares about humanity that way. Best dude ever. This fucking base. I'm just keeping some of these tabs open. Fuck it. Until I have too many tabs, then yeah, we can just remember Sugihara here, because this guy's great. He just said fuck the rules and just decided to save people and be a really great person. You know, literally heroic effort from him. Sometimes it's that easy. He didn't even have to fist fight nobody. He just had to fill out a lot of paperwork and people's lives were saved. That's really beautiful. Okay, so on to Steven Crowder. I guess let me just try to think exactly how I want to even go about it. How much I want to summarize. How much, nose is feeling a little runny there. So Steven Crowder, if you don't know, he's a, I guess, political commentator, right? That's probably like actually not a unfair way to describe it. Well, we'll do that one. We'll do that one afterwards as a bit of a cleanse. But basically, Steven Crowder. So if you're at all left leaning in your politics, Steven Crowder's pretty quick and easily recognizable as being like a piece of shit. His politics are bad, and I've certainly never enjoyed his vibe. Never thought he was, particularly smart or clever or interesting. But hey, I'll grant, I really only would hear about him or see him if I was seeing someone, like, shitting on him or criticizing him. Vosh has done plenty of videos on him. I like those videos. But, it's just nothing I ever saw of Steven Crowder ever compelled me to want to watch Steven Crowder. And he's not a small fry. He's a pretty elite, in the American political kind of sphere there. He's pretty big. There was a recent thing where he had a falling out with the Daily Wire, which is a shitty organization. I don't like or respect anything going on at the Daily Wire. He was working with them for a while, and then there was going to be a new contract because I guess just his contract was up, time for a new contract. They were going to give him $50 million. He denied he declined on the contract, and then he went public about it, which a lot of people thought was, I guess a lot of the Daily Wire people thought was being dickish, because it seems like there wasn't really anything in the contract that was all that bad from what I could tell, and they were going to give him $50 million fucking dollars. I think it was over a few years, but it's just man, just when you're a right-winger, if you're willing to say the conservative bullshit, there is just so much fucking money that they hand to you. Every fucking leftist media project has to be built completely from the ground up. But I don't know how exactly the Daily Wire gets all its money, but it's just, you can just know it's that kind of stuff where it's I don't think Steven Crowder was making the Daily Wire fucking tens of millions of dollars on his own merits. I think it's just that, propaganda-wise, he was to them worth that investment of millions of dollars. But it's something I don't see talked about very much. And it's just worth keeping in mind that when someone like Steven Crowder, who shows up and kind of just very quickly has a studio and a crew, multiple people, a professional crew with cameramen, sound engineers, handpicked kind of hosts, co-hosts that he can just bounce stuff off of. That's not he didn't start out I am here and then work his way up to that. Right? It's this is, this set was given to him so that he could do the propaganda job that they wanted him to do. And if he wasn't around, or if he had declined it way back when, the Daily Wire would have just gone for the next person to pick to be this fucking weird asshole right-wing shit guy. It's a lot of money. Comparison, someone... What the fuck? Alan Rickman. Why was that? Oh, okay. Okay, I was just why the fuck did Alan Rickman come up? If you compare to Vosh, I'm remembering with Vosh, it's the whole, there's, the memes about in the community of, side angle Vosh. Back in the old days, Vosh. Back in the different rooms and backgrounds and setups. Because, Vosh was just a guy, and he, I think he said before, it's like he got like gifted a Blue Yeti microphone by somebody, and with that he started the channel. And like Blue Yeti microphone, like I have one of those. It's like a $200 microphone. It's like a very popular one because it's hopefully sounds yeah, it's good quality. It's a good quality microphone, much better than using like a webcam microphone. This webcam is a decent camera, but I mean, the fucking Blue Yeti microphone is about like 10 times the size of the webcam camera. Like, I can't imagine the webcam's as good as a microphone. But it's like, you know, Vosh, his current modern setup is more like this, but it's just like, you know, I can believe that Vosh might have like over $1 million, like saved up, like over $1 million, like in his bank account. He could be at that point. I think, you know, he probably, I'm sure, I think he said it. I'm sure he definitely makes at least like 6 figures a year off of all the various like donations, subscriptions, however exactly the money comes in that way as a YouTuber. Or, you know, it's like a streamer on YouTube. But it's just like, you know, no one is giving Vosh a contract. No one is giving Vosh like a $5 million studio and employee setup, like ready to go. You know, Vosh has an editor, and that's because Vosh hired and pays an editor to do editing for him to save, you know, because fuck, it's a lot of shit to edit. Good, you know, good return on that. Worth it to have an editor. I think they like post on Twitter. I think it's like Tempest or whatever. They post on Twitter. They're like a trans guy. They're cool. They're Vosh's editor. Vosh. They're a Voshite. Who would have guessed? But just, you know, there's no one. You know, it's like the Bernie Sanders thing of just like any money Vosh has it's coming from people donating or subbing or gifting or whatever the fuck it is, because they like or appreciate Vosh in some way, or they just, you know, they want their fucking donation message to show up on the screen. Don't get a lot of haters doing that though, because you got to give the person money for that, and yeah, it's not a very worthwhile game to play. Here's $10 and I'm gonna call you a Jew fag. Like, okay, thanks for the money, dumbass. Like, that's not a real, you know, sustainable thing for idiot trolls to do. Tangent, but just, I think that's just, it's something that's really worth keeping in mind with the right-wing fuckers, that like there's a lot of the right-wing media, and I'm not saying like all of it, because there's plenty of earnest people. You know, there's people doing like me, right? You know, there's people self-starting or just doing, I don't know, there's all those fucking conservative guys who like record stuff in their car while they're like driving to work, I guess every fucking day, because they live in the exurbs of Texas, so they have to drive for an hour every day, so they turn on the inward dash cam, and let me tell you, the real, it's like, I don't watch any of that shit. I just see those thumbnails sometimes. I see those selfies sometimes of white guy with a MAGA hat on and sunglasses in a car. That's a whole like genre of selfie. It's the, you know, you're about to hear the worst opinion you've ever heard when like you see one of those guys' faces. But I just feel, yeah, it's worth pointing out that just there's some of these real big right-wing figures are just, it's, you know, the point of the Daily Wire is not necessarily to make money. I don't know exactly where their funding is. I could look it up. I think they've got some, you know, additional funds coming in, and it's just, you know, you got to think about it from the perspective of like a billionaire capitalist oligarch who wants to influence politics. You know, if they spend $50 million on Steven Crowder, and Steven Crowder's actual like direct monetary return is only $10 million, then okay, that just means that they paid $40 million for all the propaganda and political influence, and depending on what they want, depending on what they're moving getting to, 40 million for all the whatever bullshit content that like Crowder would create for them. Like, that's what they're paying for. That's what they want. They're not funding Steven Crowder to make money. They're already billionaires. They already have all kinds of money in stock in various companies. They're paying Steven Crowder to do propaganda. It doesn't have to be a financially successful product on its own. So I think it's worth pointing out, because, yeah, people like Steven Crowder, it's just totally fucking fake. It's completely constructed and artificial. So, yeah, fuck, I always take more time than I think I will. So maybe I won't dwell on it too much. I did a lot of setup there. I got on that tangent about the way the right-wing media ecosystem is, kind of very much propped up. But so this video, because it turns out Steven's divorced now. He's divorced. This video, I think, is from 2021. The woman there is his now ex-wife. As you can see here, I will confirm, I will help elucidate that she is not fat. She is pregnant. She's got 2 baby twins. They've been born. They're alive and healthy as far as the public is aware. So at this time, she's pregnant. And the video, yeah, it's like 3.5 minutes. And, I don't think it was Steven that released it. I think it was her, and I think it's partly because he was talking about the divorce on the show a bit, and he had, like, previously with her agreed that, like, that wouldn't be done, but then he did it, and he, gave his take on it. Just kind of like it seemed a bit, a little one-sided. So, hey, now this video shows up, and yeah, it's Steven and his wife having an argument. It's a really stupid argument, and the reason the argument's really stupid is because Steven Crowder is a piece of shit, and it's his fault that this argument is happening, and that this argument is as stupid as it fucking is. I won't, you can watch it yourself, you can read some transcripts, but I would say from my end, yeah, it's not just a couple having an argument. Arguments between couples can look ugly. They can, sometimes get mean. Yeah, at what point do we call something like abuse? And we're talking emotional abuse, emotionally abusive. Because like words actually do matter. I think it's part of the reason like free speech is important is because words actually do have an effect and have value and utility. If the things people say didn't matter, why would free speech matter then? Right? It's words have to be useful for us to care about whether or not there's restrictions, like legal ones on them. And legally, I don't think it's a crime necessarily to be emotionally abusive to your wife. Probably doesn't like help, it probably doesn't like help your side of how things get divided if you're getting divorced and there's a bunch of evidence of you being emotionally abusive. I know it, I'm sure, if a jury or a judge ever heard or saw this video, and I mean, if they did, they probably would have had a lot more videos to see, that could definitely weigh in on their decision making in terms of just, who was putting in the effort and who was being a fucking problem. And, yeah, so, I guess, things to say. Sometimes it's hard for me, because I don't, on a certain level, like, I don't get being emotionally abusive like this. I guess, I'm fucking autistic. I got some of that autistic thing where it's like I don't want anyone to dislike me. I accept it because I'm a leftist in America. I accept that like at least 10% of the country wants to hang me from a fucking light post, and I will not be spared the day of the rope either. I mean, which I'll fucking fight on the black people's team. If it comes to that, I was like, I don't like these white nationalists either. Fuck them. That's not my kind of white. That's not how I do white people. There's white people, and then there's crackers. I don't know. What's the Chris Rock bit? I don't know. Crackers will break into your house. Crackers will steal your car. I don't know. Fucking old Chris Rock bit. I don't know why I'm... It's the alcohol. The alcohol's affected me. It's caused me to use the hideous racial slurs like cracker. This is why I don't stream on Twitch. At any point, I might drop a big C bomb. Hard R. Hard R, cracker. But just... some of the specific, to understand the argument exactly, there are some specifics. I'm not going to really get into them. Aside from pointing out that she's 8 months pregnant. So it's like, oh God. Watch it yourself if you don't have like a, content warning for, literally, you're going to be watching a man verbally abuse his pregnant wife. And it's really fucking gross. It is anger inducing. I felt angry watching it. Like I said, I wanted to just hit the guy. I guess that's some of where it's like, because it's like, I don't know, if someone talked to me like, someone was talking to me the way Steven did, it'd just be like, are we gonna fight now? Because you either need to like dial it the fuck back, or like, I'm just gonna, like, we can just fight. We can just have a fist fight. But I'm not a smaller woman who's, fucking 8 months pregnant. If you're pregnant, it's probably pretty wise to not escalate to physical violence. I don't ever have to worry about that, so I can just start throwing. But think for a moment here. A little bit of water, always. I drink a lot of water. I'd be drinking the alcohol, but when I'm not drinking alcohol, I pretty much just drink water. Like, I don't know, water, it tastes good, feels good. Not like I hate sodas or juices. I will drink those. If we're getting brunch, I might get a coffee. Enjoy a coffee. Nothing wrong with a coffee, but like, if I'm just sitting, you can tell this is a big fucking water bottle. I drink like, I refill this thing like at least twice a day. I drink a lot of water. I don't know. I'm not hurting myself with how much water I'm drinking, so it's like, hey, it's definitely, it's possible to not be getting enough water. So fuck. Anyway. But I guess, I'd say in a certain sense, the Steven Crowder video is kind of like a good litmus test that just, if you care about someone, if you're in a relationship, like a marriage, a spousal romantic relationship, something where like love and respect for your partner should be one of the kind of like core foundational pillars there. You wouldn't talk to your partner the way Steven talks to his wife. I guess I'll just to quickly paraphrase a lot of just things I was seeing from other people saying, and that I like kind of agree with to some extent. There's a real sense that he's talking to his wife like she's a dog. There's a real sense that he's talking to his wife like she's a disobedient child. A lot of people, I was seeing some amount of people saying that they've had issues with like narcissistic relatives or narcissistic exes, and that Steven was reminding them very much of how someone who has like clinical, like diagnosable narcissism would act in a relationship. And I could buy that, because being a narcissist sorry to any narcissist out there, but not really. As far as I've ever seen, being an actual diagnosed narcissist seems to just kind of condemn you to being a unlikable piece of shit. Like, just anytime someone's a narcissist, it's just like, oh, well, that at least somewhat explains why they're such a crazy, unlikable, like, psycho asshole all the time. For no reason. Like, oh, they're a narcissist. They don't know how to actually give a shit about anyone else. Which doesn't excuse it, but at least lets you know when you should just, like... as Vosh would say, with narcissists, you might often just have to deploy the rock. It might just be that you get a few more people who aren't narcissists, and you just all get your rock. And let the narcissist know that we will rock you if you don't, like, put a fucking lid on your inane bullshit. I don't know. It's like every narcissist is just like a thin-skinned, like, insecure psycho. But at least a psycho has the potential to, like, understand the game theory, like, benefits of cooperation and, like, being nice to people. Like, even if they don't feel the same kind of empathy or, like, drive or desire to be, like, friendly and cordial with people, at least a psycho has some potential to, like, understand that there's a benefit to getting along with people and not being an unlikable cunt. Narcissists seem to always just fuck that up. Narcissists seem to just not understand why everyone isn't, like, kissing their feet at all opportunities. So... And yeah, just, it's the whole way he's talking to her. It's like, even without any... Just hearing the audio, it's just like... I guess I'll just reiterate it. It's... In terms of, like, me relating to... Or how I relate to it, it's just like... Yeah, I could not talk to someone I had any sort of like or respect for the way Steven Crowder talks to his wife. The way I view it, if I talk to someone the way Steven Crowder talks to his wife, I hate them, and I'm trying to edge them towards killing themselves. Like, Steven Crowder towards his wife uses the tone I would use if I was trying to get someone to, like, jump off a building. That's the tone he uses towards his pregnant fucking wife when he's sitting on his ass at home. He's got that much, like, contempt for her not being what he wants her to be. Because his wants and desires are so fucking noble. Like, I don't necessarily. Yeah, just it's an extreme. Oh my god, I'm using language that's gonna get me demonetized. Like, I don't know. That's just how I talk. I hate that kind of shit. That, like, oh, if you talk about suicide, your video gets demonetized, and, like, that does suck. That really sucks ass if you're trying to, like, have a YouTube channel and you have to use, like, fucking euphemisms like unalive or low tier godding to just be like, suicide. Suicide, that thing where a person just kills themselves. Like, content warning. Like, emotional abuse. Like, content warning. This is heavy shit. If you've got struggles, like, I'm sorry. I might not be the best, like, YouTube channel for you to watch if you've got, like, real struggles about that, because I got a low filter for that kind of thing. I don't give a fuck about whether I'm, like, monetized or not, or whether I'm advertiser friendly. Fuck being advertiser friendly. And again, not shitting on anyone who has to, like, straddle the line there, because, like, I get it. It's, if you're trying to actually make money off the YouTube, like, yeah, it's balls in YouTube's court. But just, like, and just, I don't know if I've ever exactly said it, but my partner, I'm 29. I met my partner in college. We've been together for, I think now, for over 10 years. Like, 10 and a half years now. We've been together for 10 years. And, like, we've had some fights and some arguments or, like, disagreements, and just even, like, it's, like, not even comparable. Like, even like the worst fights I've ever had with my partner, they're not home right now. I'm doing this kind of earlier. It's partly they're out doing a political thing. They're in a political group, and they're like weekly kind of meetup thing. So that's partly why I'm streaming now, because it's just like, it's convenient. Like, I don't... Yeah, by the time they're back, I'll be done with the stream, and then we can, like, hang out, you know? Oh, it's nice. But I just realized I'm kind of, like, gesturing to them, like, because they're sometimes sitting in the room, but, like, they're not home right now. They're not here. Kitty cat's asleep. Or trying to sleep. I don't know how well he's actually sleeping. He tends to filter me out pretty well these days. Anyway, I've been with my partner for 10 years. Even, like, our worst fights were, like... It's like not even comparable. Like, just the tenor and even our worst fights, neither me nor my partner ever said a single thing that was comparable to the way Steven Crowder talks to his wife. And, like, this is 1 3-minute video, one argument. But I just, in terms of context, I don't know. I guess I'd put it this way. It's like, this interaction he's having with his wife is so unbelievably fucking bad that, like, the context I imagine around it is just other shitty fights. Like, I'd bet, I don't have an exact way to confirm it. Like, I don't know what info will come out, but, like, if there was a way to bet on this, I'd put $1,000 down that the fight on this video is not the worst fight they've had. I'd put $1,000 on they've had even shittier fights and arguments than this one. And I'd put $1,000 down that he has definitely put his hands on her. I don't know exactly how he's beating her up. I don't know exactly how he's been physically abusive, but just, this is how I like to establish it. We're just like, I don't have that video on hand. I am making my assumptions, conclusions. I'm connecting points. Maybe those points don't exist. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm in terms of, like, a level of confidence, I'd bet $1,000 that Steven Crowder has put his hands on his wife before. Like, everything in that video shows me that he would. Like, why wouldn't he? Like, what? Because he respects her too much to do that? Like, no, he fucking doesn't. Like, he's not that kind of guy? Like, yeah, he fucking is. He would totally beat his wife up. Why wouldn't he? He doesn't love her. He says as much himself. Like, do not spare the rod and spoil thy wife. Like, whatever the fuck crazy, hoped up Christian bullshit he thinks he's on. Ugh. And just slight personal... I mean, this isn't even too... But just, like... points of comparison for where I come from with it, or just, for anyone who's, like, more on the fence. My parents are divorced. They got divorced when I was, like... I want to say, like, 11. Like, 10 or 11. And, it was, like, a process that, like, kind of played out over a year or two of, like, yeah, things are, like, being kind of shitty. And, like, Dad's staying at his friend's house for, like, a week. Like, so... I've heard my parents, who in the midst, they got divorced at the end of it. I've heard my parents have some shitty fights. I've heard my parents yell and scream at each other and be really mad and frustrated about stuff. But once again, as a point of comparison, I think the worst fight I've ever heard between my parents was, again, like maybe like 20% as bad. Like, if Steven Crowder talking to his wife is here, my parents, in the midst of getting divorced, is, like, there. So, like, that's my bar. Like, I don't think my parents were, like, necessarily emotionally abusing each other. They were having personality conflicts, and they weren't resolving them, and just shit was, breaking down and deteriorating. They mostly kept me and my sister out of it. My parents, like, they did divorce in, like, the pretty, like, reasonable way. It was very much, like, not me or my sister's fault, and, or it just, there was no, divorce is inherently always gonna be kind of shitty. Even, like, the best divorce is kind of shitty. Like, that's the way I view it. I think my parents had, like, a relatively good divorce as far as, like, being divorced with 2 kids goes. Like, I think my parents had a relatively, like, clean divorce. Neither of them were being, like, vindictive. Like in terms of like the legal, like, you know, the splitting and dividing, like neither of them were like being like really like vindictive or like shitty or anything. No one was like cheating or screwing around or anything. You know, they were just having personality clashes that were just not resolving over time. And just even for that, my direct experience of a couple whose marriage failed and got divorced. I feel kind of mean saying that about my parents. I love both my parents. I mean, whatever. They know they're divorced. Like, even in that context, I never heard either of my parents say the kind of shit Steven Crowder says. Like, even that was just, like... I've seen marriages break up more amicably than this fucking asshole tells his pregnant wife what chore she should be doing while he is sitting on his ass smoking a cigar. Like, literally, it's almost... Yeah, I guess in a certain way, it's... You know, it's concerning if someone doesn't see it, because I guess it's almost like a caricature. Because I haven't mentioned it, but Steven Crowder is literally, for most of this conversation, he's sitting on his ass, smoking a cigar around his pregnant wife. You know, one, smoking cigars is already kind of like a half sign that you might be a cunt. Not saying you're a cunt if you smoke cigars, but I am saying that a lot of people who smoke cigars seem to be cunts. Cue Andrew Tate, who constantly has a cigar in his mouth, because I guess having something phallic in your mouth is very manly when you're stupid. But just like... Just, yeah, as that point of comparison, just, you don't... I mean, in a way, it's like, me and my partner, like, we don't really actually even... I'd say we don't even really fight that much. We have a pretty healthy relationship. I think us both being on the spectrum probably, like, contributes to that a bit, because we both got, like, good mutual, like, autistic-y vibes, where we just want to, like, hug each other and, like, have everything be okay. I mean, we're also just, we're a good fit, but it's just in terms of, like, what your grievances are and what you're trying to communicate, a lot of fights can just be headed off with just having, like, better communication and just communicating, like, what do you want? What do you need? What's happening? Do you need your partner to, like, do something different in order to help address this? Is this something they're willing to do? What needs to be worked out on? Like a minor example. This is a minor example, and it kept itself a pretty minor example. Where I was having a thing about, like, I really like playing video games, and I want to play video games with my partner more, and sometimes we have, like, my partner sometimes gets, like, anxious or self-conscious if they're, like, playing games with other people, because they feel like they're not playing as well, yada yada. It makes them, like, anxious, so it's not fun for them. And, like, that's something, like, we've worked through a bit. But it was, we just ended up, just having a conversation where, like, I was sad. I was very sad. And I was approaching it as, like, I'm just very sad because it's like, well, I really like playing video games. And I like talking to you about video games. And, like, you play video games on your own. And just, there's all these great, like, multiplayer or cooperative games that, like, we could play together. Like, you're my best friend and I'm a gamer. So, like, of course I want to play some games with you. And, it makes me sad that we're, like, not playing games, even though, and it's like their concerns about, like, how playing games sometimes makes them feel like it's valid. Like, I've seen them get stressed out and sad and anxious because they're playing a game with other people. I've seen that happen. I've had it happen with me, so it's like, I understand why they sometimes wouldn't want to. But we, like, this is, like, semi-recently, a few months ago, we, like, came up with an agreement to have, like, a planned gaming session together at least once a week, where we've been doing that. We're just, for, like, an hour or two, play a video game together. I picked the game. Lately, like, we just been doing, like, Mario Kart. I got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. I got controllers. I got a big-ass TV in the living room. And, like, last week we spent, like, an hour and a half on... I don't even remember what day it was. Sometimes we change what day it is. But, like, we played Mario Kart for an hour and a half. And it was really fun. And it made me really happy. And, like, I was sad in that initial conversation. But, like, I wasn't, like, insulting my partner. Or I wasn't, like, telling them that they are failing in their in their spousal duties, and that I no longer believe they love me, and I therefore don't love them. And it's like, holy shit, this is like, you know, it's the way Steven's talking to his wife is like I mean, again, I guess it's like almost a caricature of being emotionally abusive, because it's really just the direct opposite of how to have like a healthy relationship. And hey, guess who's fucking divorced now? Guess who's not probably having much custody over the kids? Because, I mean, shit, I think the guy's a narcissist. He probably shouldn't be around children. He's not a good influence. I mean, look at him. He looks like he might be some kind of groomer by his own logic. Okay, I'm getting kind of hot, so I got a fan below my desk. I'm gonna like turn that on. Hopefully, it shouldn't be too loud. And I'm gonna roll my sweatpants up a bit because I'm already wearing a t-shirt. I'm wearing sweatpants, but I'm rolling them up a bit because I'm getting actually kind of sweaty. She can do better. Fuck, man. It's like, I don't... Just think how boxed in you've made me, as he sits reclining on a chair, scolding this pregnant woman. Look how boxed in he is at his fucking mansion. There's so much. I'm gonna kind of wrap it up here, but just say that, like, if a partner ever treats you, watch that video. Use that video as a test. That just, if a romantic partner ever is treating you the way like Steven Crowder's treating his wife in that video, like, I think your relationship's probably fucked. Like, because that's really bad. That's bad to a point where, like, if it was able to get that bad, I don't see how it could, like, realistically actually get better. Because if it was capable of getting better, like, it wouldn't have gotten that bad. There's a point at which you have actually just, like, fucked up too much. Can anybody do it? I don't know. Oh, the new challenge. Yeah, this article of his, this article from 2015, I guess. That didn't age well. Cause it's just I don't know, if anyone talks to their partner the way Steven talks to his, I guess I'd be interested in talking to you, because I am curious as to how you, like, defend or justify that. Because going to what I said earlier, the only way I would talk to someone the way Steven Crowder talked to his wife is if I was, like, trying to push them to fucking kill themselves. Like, if I just, like, hated a person, like, if I wanted a person to just, like, not ever interact with me again, like, I want a person to just, like, genuinely, like, fuck off out of my life forever, only then would I approach the, like, tone that Steven Crowder talks to his pregnant wife with. And, you can just tell from, like, that's not, like I said, that's not a one-off. That's not some, like, weird one-off thing. That's not the worst argument they've had. She's using language she's picked up from therapy to try to defuse the situation. She's had counseling specifically to try to deal with Crowder's asshole behavior. She was ready for him to act like that kind of a piece of shit because he's done it before. And yeah, that's why I think the narcissism thing has a bit of like, potential merit. I mean, I'm not the doctor. I can't diagnose him. Counterpoint. I've officially diagnosed him. Yeah. Oh, your life's fucked now, Steve, and everyone knows you're a narcissist because I said so. But it's like, if he's a narcissist who just like doesn't give a shit about and is like literally his entire life been incapable of truly like giving a shit about or empathizing with other people, then I could see why he talks to his wife like she's a disobedient, like malfunctioning toy to be disciplined and chided into correct behavior. Like he's a fucking military sergeant and she's a private who's failing the training. Like, yeah, I guess a narcissist would find themselves in a marriage like that. For anyone who isn't a narcissist, I don't know why would you even want to be in a relationship with someone if you talk to them that way? It's like the kind of... It's like I said, I couldn't talk to someone the way Crowder talks to his wife if I liked or respected that person at all. Like, it would go against liking or respecting that person. Ugh. So that's kind of the quickie on that. I'll just very quickly just throw up just 2 videos as like, I guess, a recommendation of just, videos I watched and listened to about it. So the Vosh video, I like Vosh, so of course I'll recommend the Pregnant Cigar. I'll recommend the Vosh video where he looks at it. And then also recently I saw a Chapo Trap House video, where I think it was cut from a recent segment, or like from a recent podcast, right? It was this segment. They talked about it. They echoed a pretty similar opinion to what I did. I generally enjoy Chapo Trap House. I'm not all the way like caught up on stuff, so don't come at me because Chapo said something you think is stupid and now you want to argue with me about it. Like, 50-50 chance I thought it was stupid too. Who the fuck? I don't fucking know. But I like, Chapo's take was similarly just like, yeah, wow, what a piece of shit. Like, just actual fucking human garbage. But just good coverage. And yeah, Vosh here. I'm gonna go just say hey to my partner for a second. Just let Vosh play while I do it.
Exclusive video of Steven Crowder shouting at his pregnant wife. Fantastic stuff. We drama now, baby. Let's go. Seriously, I haven't seen the clip, so I have no idea. There's a longer version, I know. It's on the Substack. This is the video at the top. That's 3 minutes 27. All right. So, okay, right off the bat, I want to be clear, because I haven't seen this, okay? So I don't know what my judgment's going to be. All right? People argue, all right? And people are mean to each other, even when they love each other. And I think that's normal. And okay, if he's being mean to her, that on its own, I don't even think that's worth noting, okay? There's specific kinds of mean, all right? There's mean strategies, okay? There's mean dialogue.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick too. I'll just let this keep playing. We can just content warning. Again, content warning. You don't want to see if you're sensitive about emotional abuse. Well, Steven Crowder is not your guy then.
Dialectics. All right.
I drew a boundary.
Oh, never mind.
I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary in abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There's no groceries. I'd be happy.
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect me? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Dude, the culture war is coming from inside the house. Oh my god. He's smoking a cigar right next to his 8-month pregnant wife. Yeah.
Other than that, you see love like that. No. Other than that, no, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
You're not taking the car.
Steven,
You are not
Then I
taking
will ask them to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not about Steven.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
Why can't he? What is he complaining about? Why can't he do any of these things? Why is he whining? What are we whining about?
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
Vosh, I think they only have one car. Okay, first of all, that's insane. They're clearly in like a mansion, or at least a very large house. Why do they only have one car? Second of all, he said he can't call his friend. Does he mean call his friend to like pick him up? Isn't she just getting groceries? Probably a way to control his wife. Maybe. That's weird.
So alright, there's a taste of it from Vosh's end. Yeah, my first time watching this video was my first time seeing this Crowder argument, him being a shithead. I was seeing it from the Vosh video here, so this was. But yeah, I was agreeing with everything Vosh was saying. All of Vosh's reactions were pretty much just my like, what the fuck is he on about? You know, that's where it's like, it's all his fault. He's having a piece of shit argument because he's being a piece of shit. And his argument, the thing he's arguing about is fucking stupid and doesn't really make any fucking sense because he's an abusive asshole. Someone who wasn't an abusive asshole just wouldn't even be having any of these problems where they need to argue with their spouse about them. Ugh. It's just the whole, like, yeah, it turns out Crowder, not playing a character on his show, not acting up at all, not turning it on for the show at all. No, he's that much of a cunt in the off time, too. Yeah, it's basically anyone who has experience or just knowledge of like how abuse works or actually like plays out or functions in a relationship. I've just seen pretty much unanimously. It's just like, yeah, this seems like really boilerplate like emotional abuse. Like, duh. Imagine telling your wife, I don't love you, and then being sad when she divorces you. Whew. Yeah, Crowder definitely doing the Schrodinger's douchebag. Whether he's joking or not depends on whether the people around him found it funny or not. Pathetic shit like that. Own your jokes. If you made a joke and it came off shitty, just own it. Just be like, my bad. I should have thought more on that one. Like, just fucking, like, grow. Just grow as a person. I don't know if this is like a neurotypical versus autistic thing. I don't know why neurotypical people seem to have so much trouble just, like, growing as a person. Just, like, because it's like, you can just, you know, if you fuck something up, and then you recognize it, and then you try to account for it going forward, then the problem is less likely to happen again. And you just iterate on that. And it's just like, at a certain point, like, I don't know, it's sometimes, it's like someone who refuses to put a bandage on a cut because they don't want to deal with, like, how the bandage will hurt when they have to take it off. But it's like, you have a cut, though. Like, bandage the cut, and then just, you know, be an adult and just deal with it when you have to take the bandage off. Like, grow up, like, be real. It's like the Louis C.K. joke about, like, you're trying to go somewhere and the toddler, like, refuses to put their shoes on. It's like, imagine if an adult did that. Imagine if an adult was just like, I don't want to wear shoes. And it's like, we're going to a restaurant. The fuck are you talking about? Like, just... make better jokes. Or just, maybe recognize that you're like a bigot. If your jokes are bigoted and people keep saying they don't like your bigoted jokes, like, maybe you should just look in the mirror and think for a sec about, like, am I a bigot? And do I want to be? That's the whole right-wing shit. It's like every right-winger has to pretend they're not a fucking right-winger. Whereas, you ask a commie if they're a commie and they'll be like, hell yeah, I'm a commie, fuck capitalism. It's like, thank you. Gosh, shows who actually, like, fucking cares about their beliefs when they can at least, like, own up to having them. Oh. It reminds me of Vosh, I think, arguing with, like, it was like the Destiny Striker, the, like, duo debate, where they were trying to go at Vosh about, like, who are you to speak about the sexism in Saudi Arabia? Who are you to speak on the fact that their society and legal system is incredibly sexist? And it's just like, I don't even remember what exactly Vosh said, but it's like, I'm a human on Earth who cares about people. Like, this isn't a gotcha. Like, yeah, I'll criticize Saudi Arabia for being sexist. I'll criticize America for being sexist too, because I genuinely, like, don't like sexism towards men or women. I'll criticize both of them because I actually my actual true position that I'm defending is that sexism is bad and corrosive to society and human cooperation. So I will just criticize it wherever I see it. There's no gotcha there because I actually have, like, a principle I care about. And, forcing me rhetorically to stick to my principles isn't a problem. If I can't stick to my principles, then I'll change the fucking principles. Or I'll think on them a bit, but it's like, what's the point of a principle if you're ashamed of it? Why bother even pretending you have a principle if you don't even want to actually stick to it? Like, stop thinking it's a principle then. You don't give a shit. Or at least you don't give a shit like you thought you did. And hey, sometimes that's okay. Sometimes that's just life. There's a billion things wrong in the world. You gotta pick your fucking battles sometimes. I live in America. There's a billion things wrong with this country. I gotta pick my fucking battles sometimes. I could go around with a toolkit and try to dismantle anti-homeless architecture, where they put, like, the spikes or they put the, like, excessive railings on benches. I think it's great and cool to just tear that shit out and unscrew it wherever you find it in public. Like, general concept, fuck that shit. I'm not going around and doing it myself just because I gotta prioritize. It's like going on the... I want to give money to all of them. I want all of these GoFundMes to be maxed out. I literally can't do that, though. I have to choose. So same with, where I spend my time in advocacy. I am unfortunately... I can't comment on the political situation in Nigeria because I don't know what it is, and I would have to spend a lot of time to learn anything about it, and I'm not sure how much of an impact it would have, and there's already a political situation in America that I do know a lot of shit about, and I live and grew up and am currently in the middle of it. It's just nothing wrong with having a focus. When people do a march to raise funding for Alzheimer's treatment, it's not a slight against cancer patients. Alright, yeah, I'm just totally... Yeah, well, it's an hour and 15 minutes into stream, so I spent 10 or 15 minutes talking about the Crowder thing, like I said I would, because I'm not a liar. So let's open Scratch. It's like, what am I... Alright. You know what? Okay, I just glanced there. Doing a second donation because we're definitely at that point in the stream. Person who's having, issues with being able to work and get their income because of medical issues that are impacting that. Sounds good to me. And by sounds good, I mean I'm gonna give them $50 here. It's like when someone posts something really sad on Facebook and it's like, but I don't want to like it. Oh, I guess actually like Facebook. I guess it's been a while now. I never use my personal life Facebook. I never use that thing. Cause I don't fucking care. But I remember they did actually add it where you could do angry or sad instead of just like. Because there's the whole thing of Grandpa passed away tonight. Thoughts and prayers. It's totally bit weird. Bit weird when you can only like a thing. Okay, though. So we're on there. Billionaire busting. I bet you'll never see Steven Crowder helping someone on GoFundMe. At least not someone he doesn't fucking know. Because, he doesn't give a shit. If Steven Crowder could press a button that would cause everyone on GoFundMe to die, and he would get $100,000 per person, he would hit that button. He's that kind of guy. He would hit that button. He'd be like, that's a lot of money. Great. And he would just kill 10,000 people. And he'd sleep like a baby after doing it. So you know what? This will be one for later. This will be a thing for later. Not this stream, but maybe another stream. But it's a kind of example of that thing I want to go over. But if I do it, actually, should I just do it? Now, I want to think about and find the thing and not be doing it live on stream. So I'll just make a note of it. Yeah, spooky, scary, big sea creatures. All right. I'm thinking of when Mob is fighting the last bad guy, trying to make it just not sound like the most stock fucking anime. Mob Psycho is really good. If you like One Punch Man, it's written by the same guy who writes One Punch Man. It's a different kind of story, but it's got some similarities. Instead of being the One Punch Man, it's like he's the super powerful psychic powers, but he's also not a man. He's a teenager, and he's a nice guy. Good show. When does season 3 come out? Because I will watch season 3 when that comes out. I like Mob Psycho. It's a good show. It's fun too. It's a good vibe. But there's a thing I'll talk about from that, but that'll be later. All right. So, in acquiescence to my ADHD, let's get scared of a big sea creature real quick. I've played Subnautica. I know. Oh god, yeah. I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like any of this at all. Yeah, it's not okay. It's not okay. You can't do that. It's not legal. It's illegal. It's illegal to be like that. And you know what? Just in the I guess, I don't know exactly if it's like the bully mindset, abusive mindset, an authoritarian mindset. It's at a nexus of a lot of these things. I don't know the exact best term for it, but it just makes me think, someone like Crowder, that it's like, I want to say this, that like when it comes to that, interaction he's having there with his wife, do not think for a second that he is like losing his temper. Do not think that this is him losing his temper. No. It's like when someone abuses a dog. it's that whole kind of thing where it's like a real bad sign. It's like one of the, like a very common trend with like serial killers and psychopaths is that they would like abuse and hurt and like just like torture animals when they were a kid, you know, or a youth, and that it's like they like escalated from that to like doing things to people. And man, it's such a gross concept, but it's just something about it's the like just dynamic of like they can't do anything to stop you, right? You're kicking the dog, and the dog can't do anything about it, so you can just keep kicking and beating the dog, and all the dog can really do is like whimper and cry and look all sad about it. I don't relate to what drives a person to like think that's any way to be regularly. Like, I guess I just think it's like, as a kid, you know, I killed plenty of bugs as a kid. As an adult, if there's bugs in my house, I'll kill them. Usually, I don't. They fucking annoy me. It's my house. Fuck them. They're bugs. But it's like, you know, as a kid, you know, at a certain point, I just feel like, I realized this as a kid, that at a certain point, it's like, okay, I can kill an ant. Like, I can squish an ant. I can like take its head off. I can fuck an ant up. Who cares? What's interesting about that? Child me eventually got, at some point as like a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old, it's like, okay, just killing a bug for the sake of like, damn, I'm 5 and do. Like, you know, you're 5 and you're just like trying to discover shit. You don't like realize that like there's something. But just at a certain point, as like a kid, even, it's just like, yeah, I mean, what's impressive about killing an ant? Like, it's an ant, you're a human. Like, yeah, you can kill it. You can kill it easily. You could go to the store, buy some like ant, you know, insect poison, pour it down their hive, and fucking kill every single one of them and eradicate the whole nest from your backyard. Like, there's nothing cool or impressive about this. It's like when rich people go big game hunting and they kill an elephant or a hippo or something, and it's like, but it's like, you know, they have no experience hunting. They had like, you know, hired professional like guides who like took them on it and were there with them and had their own guns just in case, and just, it was all like curated for them to just like, you know, it's a whole like curated experience just so that they can be the one that pulls the trigger that kills the hippo. And to me, it's like, well, okay, there's like literally nothing impressive about that. And the fact that I find it so completely unimpressive is why I then end up thinking that that kind of, you know, rich person going on the big game hunt is just some like real psycho shit. Because if there's nothing impressive about doing it, you know, if someone's just like an actual hunter who's doing hunting to like, you know, sell the meat and the hide, and it's like they're just doing it as like work, it's like, okay, like that's, you know, that's a legit like they're going out like, you know, every week, several times a week, they're putting like traps and cameras out, they've got equipment and supplies, they're like doing this as like a job to like, you know, get the resources from the dead animal so that they can be sold and utilized. As like, that's fine. That's fine. There was a guy in Hawaii, in Maui, where my dad lives, and I just point him out sometimes because he was this like old weathered guy, and he would just go out in the ocean and he would just hunt octopuses. And like, octopuses are smart and cool. I kind of like him, but I mean, he was going for, you know, smaller ones, but just, he would go out with like a fucking spear and like a big hook. And I know, because, you know, I'd see him around the town sometimes, and sometimes when I was at the beach, I saw him, he'd be like far out. And my dad was telling me that, like, yeah, he just goes hunting octopuses. Like, he just spears the octopuses, and then he's got his, like, big hook, and he, like, takes them off his spear and puts them on the hook. And my dad was saying that, like, you know, he'll go out for, like, a couple hours, and then when he comes back, he'll have, like, 50 octopuses all, like, just shoved onto this, like, you know, metal hook. It's got, like, a curve at the bottom so they don't slide off. And it's, like... And then he, you know, sells those octopuses to, like, local restaurants or grocers. He probably, like, eats and cooks a few of them himself. But it's like, hey, that's how That's how some of like the restaurants and grocery stores in town are getting fresh octopus. Is that this just fucking like weathered, just like 50-year-old something looking dude is just going out in the ocean and just, you know, he's just in swim trunks and shirtless and he's just like stabbing octopuses to then sell them for other people to eat. That's respectable. It's fucking dangerous. He's doing it. There's a reason for it. It's like a job for him. There's other people benefiting. So, you know, I can understand that. That's a profession. That's a guy working. But yeah, it's that other kind of where it's the real rich person doing the big game hunt, where it's just like, so you pulled the trigger. Like, what's impressive about that? Like, yeah, guns can kill things. You know, that one random video that you've maybe seen where it's just like 50 dudes in Africa running around with spears and they're just throwing spears at every fucking animal they see and they're getting kills. It's like, you know what? Those guys are like, they're working to like get kills and like they're gonna eat and skin these animals and they're gonna sell the parts and they're gonna feed their families with these. It's like, yeah, there's a part where it's like there's like 30 dudes surrounding a hippo that's in like a little mud pit and they're just throwing spears into this hippo. It's brutal. They turn this hippo into a fucking pincushion. Hippo's fucked. Makes you realize how dangerous humans are, because it's just like, yeah, 50 humans with spears is like, there's not an animal that's gonna survive that. But it's like, you know, compared to the big game hunter, it's like, hey, whereas I have no respect for the rich person doing the paid, curated, and then I'll get to kill the great beast. Bah! I am a man now. Like, you know, 50 dudes versus a hippo isn't a fair fight for the hippo, but like, it's not supposed to be a fair fight. These guys are killing this hippo so they can get some fucking hippo meat to eat or sell or feed, you know, their friends and family with. Like, yeah, they show up with 50 guys to go kill one hippo because then none of them get hurt. That's respectable. That's understandable. It's logical. You know, it's a clean, smooth operation that day, Johnson. Yeah, there's a reason why they're doing it. They're not just, they didn't all just get around. They didn't just get 50 dudes together to go kill a hippo because they wanted to make their dicks hard about it. Like, you know, they killed the hippo so they could eat the fucking hippo. Like, they have to kill the hippo to eat it. There's a clear, like, necessity. Questions of vegetarianism aside, at least there's a clear, like, A to B relationship. Whereas, the rich person on the curated big game hunt, I don't respect it. Because I don't, what's impressive about it? You just paid money. They did all the work. You pulled the trigger at the end. There's nothing, you didn't do anything. You didn't really do anything. You didn't even have to be there. They could have killed that elephant, tiger, lion, bear, whatever. The guys you hired could have killed it themselves. They sure as fuck, you know, they're only bringing you around because you're throwing money their way for it. Like, you're useless. You have to pay your way in as the rich dumbass. You have to pay your way in because you're not fucking contributing to the hunt otherwise. And it's like, I don't know. If you imagine the scale down at all, maybe it becomes more obvious. Like, what if it's not so much a rich person, but what if you pay $200 so that you could go to a barn where they trap raccoons, and they'll hand you a gun, and for $200, one of the raccoons that's in the cage trap, they'll let you just shoot and kill one of the fucking raccoons if you pay them $200. Like, oh, that's psychotic. Like, that's fucking psychopath shit. I don't know why the fuck you would do it. And, you know, spending 10, however much money it is, and having it be a grizzly bear instead of a raccoon, like, that doesn't make it any better. That doesn't actually, that's scaling up. If they went in, if some rich asshole paid to get a fucking blue whale hunted and, you know, they got to throw the first spear, they got to throw the first harpoon into the blue whale, like, that's not impressive either. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, what, you're a psycho? Like, you want like a big wet kiss on the tip of your dick because you're a psycho who, like, positioned your, like, It'd be like if someone was like a medieval executioner and they thought they were like a real big badass because like, yeah, I'm killing people all the time. It's like, you're the executioner. Like, the people you kill aren't really like putting up much of a fight, are they? Ah, fuck. Okay, that was a whole tangent. Let's just enjoy.
Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare.
I always respect people who enter into the arena.
You're gonna do anything you can to avoid the debate. Come on, man. No idea that you were taking your show off early last time. I had no idea this was going to happen. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare.
I always respect people who enter into the arena.
Seems that Steven Crowder had gotten some cold feet, so I don't think he's coming.
Why is that?
I would love to ask him myself. He's not even answering anymore.
Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. 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 I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy.
Hey, liberal, my wife left me. Oh, okay. Now let's see. Man, I left a comment on this a while ago. Now let's see. Oh man, I had wanted to talk about Xenoblade. Let me check one thing. Let me check one thing on my end. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so I'm realizing I might need to edit the title of the stream because I'm gonna stream a little bit longer, but I want to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X, but that conversation that I will talk about that for much longer than I talked about Steven fucking Crowder for. So, and just I don't want. I got other stuff I want to do tonight, so I don't want this to be a 3 or 4 hour stream in lieu of that. So maybe it'll be the Tuesday stream, but I think I'm going to try to play a game for the Tuesday stream. Ooh, maybe I'll just talk about it. Ooh, who knows? But if not, next Sunday. But I'll edit the title, and we'll hold on. We'll hold on to Xenoblade Chronicles. We'll hold on to that because just I'm going to start talking about it, and then once I hit like 2 hours, I'm going to be like, I need to like stop though. So no reason to make it messy that way. So let's see what's something else. is Mob Psycho Season 3 then? Mob Psycho Season 3 happened. Fuck, I need to watch that then. Let's say you know, there's a channel I like. They do videos about Smash Bros. For fun. I'll watch a video or two of those, do a last donation, and that'll be at the end of this one. I talked about the Steven Crowder shit way longer than I thought I was going to, so you know, not like regretting that, but just, yeah, change of plans. I was just curious if there's an intro on this.
You know, things like that. Not that those things don't come into the equation, they do. You know, they do have at least some...
I don't know, incel black pillars. Don't do that. I mean, it's like, do you want to be an incel black pillar type of guy? Because if you don't want to be that kind of guy, you should just, like, try not being that kind of fucking... They have a fucking term for it. Just don't do that. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop whatever the thing we're just... Stop fucking doing that. You have other shit you could do with your life. You really do. You could watch more Vosh streams, alright? Replace all the incel content you look at with Vosh. There. You will have chosen to fix your own life that way. So, on the lighter note, Awesome Sauce. He does, like, these very detailed videos about things in Smash Bros. Mostly a focus on Melee. I thought his video on controllers was very interesting. But, let's watch a video or two of his, just for fun. Just for fun. Just to, come down a little bit. I don't know. I was planning to talk about Xenoblade, and now I'm not, so... So let's... Yeah, fuck it. Let's go over the ways in which the stage Battlefield is kind of broken. Battlefield, but that's one of the most, like, basic, like, tournament legal every time stages. It's like, yep. But Melee was a very rushed game.
Last week I showed off a strange Battlefield glitch.
There we go. A lot of... Oh, wow. Speaking of missing sweet spots.
It wasn't actually a glitch, nor was it related to Battlefield. But it got me thinking, surely there are some cool glitches or other things that you can do on this stage. And, well, I did a bit of research and, long story short, there are. A good amount, in fact. So let's take a look at just what this stage meant for serious, straightforward matches is hiding. Everyone and their dog has seen the thing where you go underneath Battlefield as Samus and wall jump between these two walls.
We all know.
It's pretty cool.
Everyone
But
knows.
what many of you
Come
might
on.
not have seen is the better version with Mario. While Samus can continuously wall jump underneath Battlefield for a bit, due to the decrease in height gained from each successive wall jump until you touch the ground again, eventually Samus won't be able to reach the other wall, leading to the loss of her stock. Mario, however, can avoid this otherwise inescapable anti-stalling mechanic to stall forever. To do this infinite stall, though, you first require knowing about specific jank exclusive to Mario, his reverse up B wall jump. Here's how it works.
When Mario uses his up B, due to a developer oversight, the state which allows him to wall jump is activated for a small but variable number of frames when he begins falling from it. This is what allows normal up B wall jumps. However, when touching a wall, then performing an action lasting long enough for you to touch an opposite facing wall, such as Mario's up B for example, the wall jump you could have performed on the first wall is stored. And because we stored the wall jump from this first wall we touched, if we enter a state which allows us to wall jump after switching walls, instead of moving the analog stick away from the wall we're in contact with to wall jump away, we can move the analog stick inward, toward the wall, and wall jump into it. We can do this reverse wall jump with other characters too, but they don't gain the height required to stall infinitely on Battlefield though, so who cares? With this ability to go back and forth between these two walls with his up B instead of with wall jumps alone, Mario can circumvent his diminishing wall jump heights, eventually killing him, and stay down here for the entire match if he wanted to. In theory. This has never been done in any serious setting, and if it ever does happen, it would of course constitute cheating. Plus, I have my doubts about the Mario being able to keep it up for any meaningful amount of time. The timing for these up B wall jumps is pretty tight, but still much more lenient than this next piece of tech. The Bonk Dash. The Bonk Dash is a recently discovered technique that allows Marth and Roy to achieve maximum Galint. That is, grounded actionable legend tangibility. Put simply, Galint is the number of frames a character has ledge invincibility while both being on the...
I'll say a thing of his videos that I really appreciate is just, I do appreciate redundant sentence there. It's live, baby. I like that he'll show shit with like the debug. He'll go in like the debug mode. He'll turn off the model, but like show the hitboxes. You know, slow stuff down, actually show the specific frames. Because that's how these kind of like really weird, you know, interactions work. I think he said in one of his videos, but it's like, it's part of the reason Melee has just so many little weird interactions is because it's just like the game runs at 60 FPS. It can take input on any of those 60 frames per second, and there's just like almost or basically like no buffering on anything, so it's just there's all sorts of little tiny like 1, 2, 3, 5 frame windows all over the place with just all kinds of interactions that are kind of why you end up with so much like weird unintended like tech or glitches or just little, but you know, I just like that. It's like, okay, hey, if you turn on, if you know, just some of these where it's, if you show the hitboxes of the model and you can see where like they're hitting, it's like he has a video on like why Bowser is considered one of the worst characters, and it's like Bowser's, you know, one issue among many is that Bowser's grab is very short ranged. And, you know, it's very clear to see it that because he turns on the hitbox model, he turns on like the hitboxes and has them overlaid on Bowser's model, and you can just see that like when Bowser does his grab hitbox like doesn't even reach the end of his own hand. Like his grab is like the area where he will actually grab you is shorter than it visually looks like it should be. Whereas like comparatively, Marth is a very good character. He also has a very long grab, where just by comparison, his grab will actually go a bit beyond his hand. Marth will grab you when it looks like he was too short. Bowser will not grab you when it looks like he should be hitting you.
Stage and able to perform actions. Most of the time, Galint is gained by ledge dashing, a common technique where players will let go of the ledge, double jump, then air dodge back onto the stage. Regrettably, not all ledge dashes are made equal, and the amount of Galint that can be gained varies from character to character.
Look how much variation there is in
for
that.
instance, can only get a
this shit's
maximum
not
of
intended.
4 frames of Galint from ledge dashing. While characters like Fox and Pichu can get up to 16 frames of Galint, with TAS levels of precision.
The Pichu tech.
Enter bonk dashing. As either Roy or Marth, if you bonk your head on the underside of Battlefield in a very specific way, then grab ledge, your collision box will freeze in an extremely flattened state. With this flat collision box, you can double jump on top of the stage earlier than usual, at which point your collision box will unfreeze, return to its normal size, and cause you to stand flat on the stage, with 18 frames of full invincibility, the most gallant possible in the game, giving Marth and Roy the ability to cover massive amounts of space while fully invincible. Now, you saw the weirdo shit Battlefield's ledges allow Marth and Roy to do, but that's just one of the many things about them. For instance, there's a huge, annoying inconsistency in Battlefield's model of its ledges and their actual collision. These are clearly flat, and you'd think they'd have collision boxes matching their shape. But Melee. And it's this slope where many of Battlefield's strange happenings appear. Remember in my other stage video where I showed people going through the stage?
What the hell?
Well, you can do that on Battlefield too, and I reckon it has something to do with these ledges. However, instead of falling through like in Stadium's case, you go upward through it.
Okay.
While the only clips GR Smash graciously sent me were for Bowser and Ice Climbers, I don't doubt for a second that this is possible for other characters too. And it does offer an interesting, albeit difficult method of getting back on stage, or a way of phasing into it and dying. On Battlefield though, sometimes it's not getting off the ledge that's hard, but grabbing onto it. It's not uncommon for players to just fall past Battlefield's ledges when it really seems like they should have grabbed onto them. It happens with enough regularity, in fact, that this phenomenon has a name: getting Battlefielded.
Oh, he had no job? Oh, the Battlefield! Oh. Battlefielded. So unfortunate right there for Lucky.
Contrary to what you might think though, it's not a glitch. Rather, just a product of shitty stage design.
Chance more, baited out, but Battlefield,
You see, in Melee, characters have two ledge grab boxes, one to the left of your character and one to the right. With a small amount of exceptions that don't really matter right now, to grab a ledge, it must be within the box your character is facing. If even a tiny bit of the edge is in the wrong box, you won't grab the edge. And because of the amount of empty space immediately beneath Battlefield's grabbable edge compared to other stages, you're much more likely to go slightly underneath and beyond the edge in such a way that you have the incorrect ledge grab box overlap. There's hope
that's
though.
dumb.
Just hold back and hope you drift far enough away that the ledge is no longer within your back ledge grab box. Sometimes though, even drifting won't be enough to save you. Drifting back has another use with Battlefield's ledges too. It allows this thing from below Battlefield, a janky second chance at life, or even an interesting recovery mix-up.
He's dead. What?
But a bit risky to do in that regard, given you might kill yourself. Hey, speaking of recovery, does this look weird to you? If you're more familiar with Brawl, Smash 4, and Ultimate's ledge mechanics, it shouldn't. But Melee's ledges don't work like this, most of the time. Normally, you can only grab the ledge when moving downward. Up Bs and such pointed upward toward the ledge will simply move up and past it. Battlefield's ledges, however, allow some characters to use their up Bs similarly to how they're used in future installments. Doing this, though, requires extreme precision. So much precision that the point on the stage which allows this to be done is called the magic pixel.
How did he do that?
Of course, it's not literally a pixel, rather it's the infinitely small point at which the ceiling and wall underneath the stage connect. And if you position yourself in this spot during your up B such that the wall pushes your character back, while the ceiling's slight incline causes you to move downward, you'll have both criteria met required to grab the ledge. You're
That makes
moving
sense.
downward, and only your front-facing ledge box has the ledge within it.
He wasn't ready.
To cap this off, here are two Pokemon oddities you can do on this stage. The first, something I'm assuming many of you have seen. Mewtwo side Bing someone through the stage to their death.
And we were just talking about that.
The result of Mewtwo's side B freezing the affected player's collision box for a bit, allowing him to pull players through Battlefield's thin ledges before their collision box returns to its proper place. And the second, a loud, irritating, and semi-practical edgeguard Pikachu can do by using Thunder Jolt with very precise positioning. Somewhere around 19.68 and negative 19.68 are two spots that work, though I'm sure there are more spots that are equally precise. You can hit people with it, or you can take someone's hearing away if you do it with enough Pikachus. And that's it for now. But before I end this, here's something I made for you.
What's Game & Watch doing?
Big thank you to Dizzy, Grarlic, GR Smash, John.
Ah, now see that was fun. There are fun and enjoyable things in this world that don't require you to be a horrible piece of shit to your pregnant wife.
Cheating.
You know what? Before let's do the third donation. Let's do that now. All right. Oh, he's close too. This guy looks like he got fucked up. Car accident. Spinal fracture. Ooh. Ooh. Fucking anonymous carrying the weight there. But okay, yeah. This dude got fucked up in a car crash. He took a walloping there. So let's, it's my patriotic duty to help out my fellow Americans. Because how can you say you love America if you won't extend a hand to its people? Think about that, conservatards. And liberals. Liberals are kind of shitty about this stuff too. Because I'm a lefty. For the rational, compassionate conservatives out there, I just want to let you know that if you go far left enough, you get to shit on liberals again. That's right, baby. You know what I'm talking about. You get to shit on liberals for way better reasons, too. You get to shit on liberals in ways that liberals really don't like having to defend themselves on. Being a leftist, it's the best. You get to shit on right-wingers and liberals when you're a lefty. And, given the nature of the left, if you want to fight with leftists, there's, being a slightly different kind of leftist can also take you there. That's pretty fun, too. Ask Vosh. let's see. I opened up this video. Now, I think this game might be free and isn't too long. So I'm actually wondering do I want to do that? Do I want to play that video? Or would that just be a funny thing to, like, play on stream sometime soon? Yeah, okay, this is free. Okay, Donkey's video on this game is funny. I'm not going to play it, though, because I could just play the actual game on stream. I do really like Joseph Anderson's Witness video, and I do kind of want to watch that on stream. Not fucking today. But that could be a fun one to watch. Because I think I've mentioned, I like Joseph Anderson, and I like, man, 7 years ago. It's a good video. Alright. We did our last donation, though. So, our last thing to end off on. Oh, is my kitty about to hop on? Yes, my kitty cat's gonna hop on my desk. Alright. Last video, though. We'll do this one.
We've all done it at some point. Whether it be looking at your friend's part of the TV while playing split screen, which you would normally do to find out where they were. Peering over your classmate's shoulder during a test, or peeking while playing hide and seek. Mostly innocuous things. Well, now it's time to learn how you could, hypothetically of course, cheat in something with merit. But first, I'm gonna need you to sign this official document stating you won't use this knowledge for anything malicious. Oh, that bit at the bottom? Don't worry about it. Just some legal jargon meant to fill the rest of the paper out. Nothing important. Great. Let's get started. To get them out of the way, we'll go over some ban techniques that are technically cheating in a competitive environment. Of course, there are the obvious ones like turning off the console, unplugging your opponent's controller, or assaulting them. But there are a few in-game ones too, such as stalling. Stalling, as defined by the Melee recommended rule set, is excessively delaying the game or match. This can be done in a number of ways. You can stall with Peach's side special by using it against a wall, staying underneath the stage where almost no character can reach you, or by using Jigglypuff's rising pound, that is, angling her pound upward as to lose less height, far away or above the stage. You can also make use of the Luigi ladder in teams, which I've already shown off in a video. Or you can join the fun and use the most popular form of stalling, planking. In Melee, characters get 37 frames of full invincibility upon grabbing a ledge. Planking is the act of abusing this ledge invincibility, most commonly to maintain a lead on an opponent via non-interaction. With some characters against certain others, planking is notoriously difficult to contest with, and attempts to stop your opponent from planking often risk being killed yourself, or at least having your opponent's lead stretched further.
Ooh, that's brutal.
And as some of you might have surmised by the clips being played on screen, with planking, the stalling rule hasn't been enforced as much as maybe it should have been. Perhaps because of its ambiguous wording. I mean, excessively? How do you quantify that? This is why in the past few years a sort of addendum has been made for planking. The ledge grab limit, as it's called, throws excessively out the window, and limits the amount of times a player can grab the ledge in a single match, most commonly to 60, with an asterisk. Because not only does the offending player have to grab the ledge 60 or more times in a single match, the players also have to exhaust the match's full 8-minute timer for the rule to even come into effect. Meaning players can pretty much plank as much as they want, waiting for their opponent to make a mistake near the ledge or kill themselves, as long as the match doesn't go to time. If the match does go to time, however, the planking player loses the match regardless of stocks and percent. Stalling also comes in the form of continuing infinite combos past 300%. While this was mostly only relevant when the Ice Climber's infinite wobbling combo is legal, there are some other infinites involving the walls on Pokemon Stadium as well that also fall under this ruling.
That's not okay.
You're live.
On top of wobbling, however, Ice Climbers have another ban technique called the freeze glitch, which
Come
involves
back.
the computer climber grabbing and
back.
up or
He's
forward
right
throwing
here.
an
It's
opponent,
like, how am I
while
not
the
gonna
player
pet him?
climber
He's right
uses side
fucking here.
special during the computer climber's hit lag.
so cute.
Doing this right will, as the name suggests, freeze your opponent, though throwing them again will unfreeze them. This can either be used to stall or
Ooh.
just as a much more difficult infinite for the ice climbers. But in
Yeah,
either
that's
case,
brutal if
it
you get
makes sense
fucking
that it was banned.
frozen.
You might have heard Melee has no banned characters, but you're wrong. You see, by using the name entry glitch, a glitch I went over a few videos ago, you can play as the only accessible banned character in the whole game. Why is he
Hey,
banned?
Earthbound music.
Well, under rule sets which use percentage instead of stamina, the former being what's used in the standard rule set, Master Hand is completely unkillable, because you can't knock him into the blast zones to take away any of his stocks. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, you can actually control him too.
Yeah, I like that. Just, you control Master Hand like he's any other character. It's just all his attacks are really long. He just has really long boss moves.
More clandestine, treacherous, and much more difficult, there exist ways of altering the game itself in ways which only benefit the one making the changes. In tournament, for money. As far as I know, there's only been one recorded case of this ever happening. It was in 2016 when a Pichu player from Ohio gave several not-so-discreet buffs to his character in an effort to perform better in tournament.
Shame.
His method? Running a hacked version of Melee he had created on a Wii via an SD card. It worked, and the Pichu player began taking full sets from power-ranked players with his bottom-tier character, collecting prize money while also generating some buzz. But something seemed fishy to the people in his scene. For one, he wouldn't play friendlies with anyone, nor would he agree to play a tournament set on any setup other than his own. On top of that, his VODs just looked not right. So members of the Ohio Melee community secretly took his SD card from his Wii, copied the
fucked,
Melee
loser.
ISO stored on it, and did some testing. It was pretty obvious. When using a certain skin on port 4, the skin and port the player used in tournament, Pichu fell faster, had her hitboxes increased in size, some nearly 3 times what they were normally, aerials were almost lagless and didn't need to be L-cancelled, and F-Smash did 24% and killed at 35. He was banned. Luckily, this kind of cheating isn't possible online due to client-side desynchronization. But as far as a surefire method of preventing this in person, well, there isn't one currently. You could have people play on setups that aren't their own, of course, but as a tournament becomes bigger, this becomes more difficult to keep track of and enforce. And because many setups nowadays have Melee being played from SD cards or USB drives on Wiis, it isn't reasonable to ask that people only play on GameCubes. And besides, you can load mods on GameCubes with a memory card. I understand this video might be the proverbial can of worms, but if it is one, hopefully this is the can of worms that encourages a complete solution to this issue before someone cheats again like this, without one.
Alright, alright. He's chosen the stage as his stage. Yes, hello, kitty. Yes, you're a boy. Don't be silly. All right. Well, hey, at 2 hours there. So that's the yeah, that's the end of this stream. I'm happy with the donating. That was done. happy with going over Crowder being a just abusive, repellent, unlikable human being. My word, that man. I do not have a good lighting setup. It's in progress. But yeah, I am planning. I am committed to. I'm gonna do a stream on Tuesday. Probably just gonna like play a video game or something for fun. Haven't even locked down a particular game. Who knows? It could be anything. But there will be a Tuesday stream this week. But yeah, so that all said, that's the end of this stream. Hope you enjoyed watching it. I had fun doing this, and I'll see you next time.